realized Jesus is always looking for people who don't think anybody is looking for them. So I had a really good upbringing. I was really blessed with family and friends. We went to church every now and then, like on special occasions. And man, if somebody asked me, like if I was going to heaven, if I was saved, I mean, my answer was just, I hope so.
I grew up in a church. My mom and my grandmother, I went with them, and I wasn't very close with God. I mean, I would pray every now and then whenever I wanted something, you know. Now, my teenage years, I began to push the idea of God out and religion in general. With that, I started to push accountability out for my actions as well. I was diving into sex and alcohol and never once thought there was any consequences with that. I thought that was, you know, life. But you know, I never even once thought about Jesus. You know, he was a curse word that I would say out of my mouth. You know, it was never anything good.
So I felt like I was more or less walking through life with no true sense of purpose. Like, yeah, it's great. I graduated high school, went to college, got a good job, and then got a good house, and my life was going great. I felt like I had my priorities in line, but something was missing, and I couldn't figure out what it was.
Well, when COVID came around, I lost a job that I was really in love with, and I ended up going back to work at my family business, and started working with a guy. And you know, as co-workers do, as you get to know each other, we started to talk about things, and God came up, and we started talking about God, and I started to ask him questions about Christianity and, you know, what it meant to believe. And we just started to read the Bible. He said, here you go, we're about to learn. So we started to read the Bible every day, and we got all the way to 2 Kings, and I said, okay, when is this Jesus part, you know? And we started reading the Gospels, and something was happening. I was super, you know, intrigued. Something about it was just, like, I needed to know. But then I got sick, and I ended up getting on an antibiotic, and I couldn't drink. I had to be sober. So in that time, I was really getting closer to the Lord. I was focusing more on him and not what I needed. I needed him. And at that time, I was starting to see my sin in its true light. And I remember watching a scene from this TV show of Peter after he just caught all the fish, and he got down on his knees and said, Lord, forgive me, I'm a sinner. And that something just pierced me inside, and I gave it up, you know, and I stepped over the line of faith. I could see that what I was seeking in the world wasn't fulfilling me. It was really Jesus. Jesus was what I needed this whole time. I felt a peace over my life that I've never felt before. My life had changed completely. I was one way, and now I'm a different way. I wanted to tell everyone about Jesus. So one night I ended up texting Tanner, my cousin.
And Fischer just texted me out of the blue, and just started asking me about my faith, and just asking me like what my relationship with Jesus was like. And I just kind of felt this sense of conviction on my heart. Like, I mean, I didn't really know what to say exactly. Like, I definitely didn't feel comfortable talking about my faith, and that really just bothered me. So after our conversation, he encouraged me to read the book of Romans. I dusted off my Bible that night and started reading through the book of Romans, and I just felt this just overwhelming just conviction, because like I felt like it was just speaking to me and just how I'd been living life. For the first time in a while, I went into my room and just got down on my knees and just prayed my heart out. So in that moment, rather than feeling all the weight of my sins and all the negativity that brings, I just felt uplifted and just this overwhelming just sense of love and peace, and like he was there just saying it's gonna be okay, like just give it all to me. He just showed me that true fulfillment can only be found through Jesus, because he's done all the work. It's not up to me to do anything. All I have to do is follow. So at that point, I knew my next step was to be baptized. So I actually got baptized on Easter, and after that, my next step was to join a small group, and we meet every Monday night. I love those people. They're all like some of my best friends now.
God put me on that work truck with that coworker. That wasn't my plan, God did that. It says in John 6:44, "No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws them, and I will raise them up at the last day." Jesus comes to us, we don't come to him.
I realize Jesus is always looking for people who don't think anybody is looking for them. And it's hard to find fulfillment in things you know might not last forever, because Jesus is the only way to find fulfillment in this life.
So my next step is to be baptized, and I'm a little nervous, but I'm determined to do it, and I know Jesus commands us to do it, and I want to show it others and my family that my life has changed completely.